Hello, Imaginers. How are you? Let me just make sure that everything is showing up here. Okay, it is. All right. So, thank you for tuning in live. I am just making sure everything looks good. There we go. Okay. Please let me know that you can hear me, that you can see me. I will be today talking about your personal AI profiles, preparing your Lightroom catalogs, how to actually set up the personal AI profile, all things related to that. I got a whole curriculum I have prepared for you today. So, my name is Scott Weidenkivowitz, and I am the Content and Community Manager here at Imagen. If we haven't met before, it's nice to meet you now. My goal here is to help you get the most out of Imagen so you can spend less time worrying about the tedious post-production and focus more on what you love. So, I want to make sure that you can be involved. If you are watching on Facebook, please know that we are using Restream to power this live stream. So, if you're watching on Facebook, before leaving a comment, please go to that link down right there. and it's chat.restream.io/FB and connect Facebook to Restream. You only have to do it once, and I'll be able to see your name when you leave a comment, ask a question, or anything like that. Speaking of which, I want to know where you're tuning in from. Where are you watching from? Leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Again, if you're watching Facebook, make sure you connect Restream to your Facebook account so I can see your name with your comment. Otherwise, I'll just see Facebook user, and that's no fun. I want to be able to address you by your name. Okay. Also comment. Let me know. Have you started the process of setting up your personal AI profile? As you may or may not know, you need 3,000 previously edited photos in order to do that. So I want to know if you've actually started the process of setting up your personal AI profile. So leave a comment, 2 comments. 1, where are you watching from? And 2, did you start setting up your personal AI profile already? Now, if you are brand new to Imagen, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with us. If you have any questions during this live stream, get those comments in. That's what this is all about. If you are watching the replay, like if a friend shared this with you, if you just happen to come across the live stream later on, I'm so happy you're here watching that. Sucks that you couldn't comment live, I'm sorry. But you'll know you're watching the replay because it will say I was live instead of I am live. And yeah, if you are watching the replay, just comment with the word replay so we know. So we do have somebody from Birmingham tuning in. Again, Facebook user, please, right below your name right now. Chat.restream.io/FB so I can actually see who you are. But I appreciate you watching, no matter what. I still appreciate it, so thank you. Okay. With that, get your questions in. I want to make sure that you have time to get your questions in about personal AI profiles, about setting up your Lightroom catalog. Get your questions in. I will be monitoring the comments as well as going through this. And yeah. So with that, let me just get started with this. Okay. So I am going to first share my screen. I got Lightroom up already. Look at that. That's Lightroom Classic for you. All right. So what I'm showing here is something that we're going to be talking about in a second. But first, you need to make sure that you are selecting. This is what you have to do in Lightroom. Select the photos that you have edited with one consistent, editing style, right? You want to make sure that not only is the editing style the same, but really, if you're using what Lightroom calls custom profiles, whatever they call them, that Lightroom changes the name of, or Adobe changes the name of things. You want to make sure that hopefully everything that you're sending to us also has one profile. What happens is, and I'm gonna sort of restate this over and over again, is that certain parameters, what we are going to take at Imagen is basically the most average of what you're doing for certain parameters and make those sort of static across the board. So you'll learn about that in a little bit. But basically, you want to start with photos that were edited. 3,000 minimum photos that were edited with a consistent editing style. So what does a consistent editing style mean? So I've got here 2 Lightroom collections. One is called Consistent Editing Style Example. The other is Inconsistent Editing Style Example. You can see here that every photo has this consistent look to it. all right? And if I was to go in and I look at the develop module, and I start with basic, for example, and I go from photo to photo, you're going to see that a little bit might have changed between exposure, maybe whites or blacks or highlights or shadows, moved slightly as needed, right? And if I was to go to tone curve, you'll see this is a fairly flat tone curve for this editing style. If I'm to go to the color panel in HSL, you'll see again, very consistent between photos, the actual editing methods, the changes in the HSL and the colors were actually very consistent, very minor, maybe one or two difference between the photos, right? That is a consistent editing style. So what is an inconsistent editing style? This, from a glance, you look at this small, right, in the thumbnails, this looks pretty darn consistent, right? But if I am to go in and look at the develop of this, and I'm going to start with basic again, and I go photo to photo, you're going to see a giant jump between highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. Look at this, minus 71 to minus 53, right? A giant jump. So from thumbnails, from a small view, they look very consistent. But from a detailed data point of view, these are very inconsistent. Just in the basic tab, you can see this one has a missing creative custom profile. You can see there's the actually one from develop, and it's not on my computer anymore. So you can see that this plays a role too, right? This plays a role. All right. Now, if I go to tone curve, look at the tone curve between one versus the other. They're very different, right? They're inconsistent between one and another. If I go to the color, inconsistent between one another. Practically every single one is different, right? So this is why making sure that the 3,000 photos that you're sending have a consistent editing style. What you are doing from one to the other is basically the same with minor variances, like the exposure might go up or down. You might make a minor one or two up or down change between the other parameters, but they're not going to be giant differences. Okay, so that is step number one. Make sure that the photos that you are going to be sending for your personal AI profile are consistent. All right. Number two is upload as many lighting conditions and as many scenarios that you can that you want to show your editing style. I'm going to switch catalogs in Lightroom real quick. Okay, while that's loading. So you are photographing, let's say you're doing portraits, family portraits, and you've got a studio where you do some family portraits. You have outdoor sessions. You have other locations where you go. For example, I do a lot of family sessions at wedding venues, right? These are families who got married, and then a few years later, they want to go back to where their wedding was, typically their anniversary, and they go with their family, with their kids, and they photograph at their wedding venue, right? So this is not wedding photos, this is family portraits at a wedding venue, which has the same issues of wedding venue lighting with mixed lighting, and sometimes the ceiling's black and you've got to figure out what to do, right? So multiple lighting conditions, multiple scenarios. So for example, I'm gonna bring this back up on screen. Let's see, it didn't come up. There we go. Okay, so what I have here is a catalog with a collection of 6,953 photos, okay? These are all edited in a consistent editing style. You can see I have photos from outdoor. Here's a wedding venue. So this is a family portrait session at a wedding venue. And this is a mixture of outdoor and indoor, right? So very sunny conditions as well, plus some outdoor shaded conditions. Different lighting situations, some with strobe, some without strobe. It all depended, right? Here's an indoor bridal shower party. So this is at a venue, at a restaurant, indoor with mixed lighting. There's natural light coming in. So I'm basically, what I did is I created a collection of 6,953 photos, all edited with a consistent editing style with mixed lighting conditions. what that's going to do, in addition to number 3, let me get to number 3 first, actually. What number 3 is upload as many cameras and lens variations, okay? So if I was to go back up to the top, go back all the way up, and I actually want to let's actually, why is that view missing? Let me bring that back up. Hold on. I want to, oh man, why is that missing? That's so weird. If I go here, it's probably going to show here, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay, I got to bring up the, I want to show you the filters. Actually, I can just go like this, I think. Hold on, meta, nope. Man, it's been a while since I've had to bring this back up, because it's always there for me. Library. Filter, okay, enable filters, here we go. No, it's not showing. All right, show them for me. Show for me. Why is filters not showing for me? Oh, here we go. Show filter bar. All right. So if I was to bring up the metadata, you'll see that I have Nikon D850, Nikon DF, Nikon Z6, Nikon Z7 II. Look at all these different lenses. So these are also from 2017, 2018, all the way up to 2022. A wide range of years, camera bodies, and different lenses, all mixed in this collection of 6,953 photos. So in here, basically what I have now are almost 7,000 photos edited with one consistent editing style. I have almost 7,000 photos uploaded, in this collection with mixed lighting conditions and scenarios, and almost 7,000 photos uploaded in this collection with multiple cameras and lenses. All right. Now, if you are a photographer by yourself and you're always using Nikon bodies or only using Canon bodies, then you want as many different camera bodies as possible, because Canon sensors have evolved over the years. Sony sensors have evolved over the years, and so on and so on. Heck, Sony sensors, before Sony bought Minolta, it was a Minolta body. So, like, you have some Minolta in your Sony bodies, right? So there's a lot of things that are important as far as the variation, diversity, and what you send beyond just the obvious of lighting and editing. It's making sure that the cameras you're using and the lenses you're using, those play a big role in your personal AI profile. So if you have multiple photographers, you have second shooters or assistants that are also shooting, use their camera bodies as well, all right? But again, make sure the editing style is consistent. All right, so what this does is creates a very diverse set of photos that your profile is learning from, which means that your profile is going to learn and be diverse afterwards. Your profile will be diverse enough to handle anything that you throw at it in the future. So somebody coming from Spain, thanks for watching from Spain. I don't know who you are. Please link Restream to Facebook so I can see your name. Also, if you're tuning in, if you came to Imagen from Imaging USA, I also want to know. Comment, let me know if you came from Imaging USA, because that's we met a lot of people there, and that's actually why I'm doing this today, is to get everybody who is brand new to Imagen to know about what to do. Hello from Montreal again. Facebook users, please connect Restream so I can actually see your name. Otherwise, I just see Facebook user. I don't know who you are otherwise. Okay, so step 1, talked about consistency. Step 2, lighting conditions, different scenarios. Step 3, as many cameras and lens variations as possible. Sandra in Atlanta, why is nobody connecting Restream today? That's so funny. Thank you for your comments. Please connect Restream so I can see your names. Brolio here in Montreal. Sorry if I got your name, if I'm not saying it right. Braulio? How do I pronounce it? Give me the phonetics so I can pronounce it right. I want to make sure I get that right. All right. So I mentioned that there's certain parameters that Imagen will keep consistent across the board. And those are basically, right now, tone curve and split toning, like the color grading, and camera calibration. All right. What that means is basically, if you do tone curve, one method. So for example, if I'm doing a tone curve, I'll go to this photo. You know what? I will go to, hold on. Let's just go to this for the sake of it. I'll start in the beginning. So let's say my tone curve, the file can't be found, of course. Let's see if there's one that I can do real quick. All right, let's see this one. File cannot be found. All right, so I can't show you from this catalog. Let's see if I go to some of the recent ones. File may not be found on this one too. All right, we're good on this one. So let's say that the tone curve was like this here, and it was like that on Braulio. Did I get it? Braulio? I hope I got it. Okay. So and you've got this tone curve on basically, 4,000 of your photos, and then on, 3 of them, your tone curve is like this, which obviously not like that. That's horrible. That would be horrible. It was more like this, right? So if you have like 7 photos where the tone curve is different, we are basically taking what's the majority, which was that first one I did, right? We're taking the majority and making that the tone curve for your entire profile. So that is something to keep in mind, right? Is that we are going to have that consistent parameters for those 3 things: tone curve, split toning, color grading, or camera calibration, all right? It's going to go to whatever is the majority for what you are sending. Pablo from Spain. Braulio, I got it. Yeah, woohoo. Thank you. Okay. We have KJ up and down the East Coast and Caribbean. Nice. Okay. So that was the 4th thing I wanted to mention. And then, of course, the 5th thing is uploading as many consistently edited photos per profile. That's going to improve the edit output accuracy. 3,000 is the minimum. It's the minimum. The more, the better. All right? You can see that this one, I have almost 7,000 photos ready to be uploaded and sent to Imagen to create the profile. Okay? The more, the better. Our Talent AI profiles are made with hundreds of thousands of previously edited photos. They are very accurate, very diverse, very consistent, because they sent so much information for the AI to learn from. Now, there's something very, very important, and that is, do not upload unedited images for Imagen to learn from. If you do that, now we have some ways to prohibit you from doing it, but there's still ways that you can get around our little bit of a blocker, and I will show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do right now is just to show you, I'm going to reset this one photo back to default. It is now completely unedited, right? But I'm going to go in and I'm going to do lens correction. I'm going to turn lens correction on because a lot of people, like myself, actually do lens correction on import. They have it as a preset for import. Now, what happens in Imagen, and I'm going to close Lightroom right now. I'm going to bring up the Imagen app only. What happens in Imagen is that when you go to create a profile, so if I was to go and create a profile, and we're going to go through this again in a second, so I'm just going to go through this real quick, just like this. If I was to go through, now, that one photo, that last photo, right? I reset the settings. So it was not edited, right? But the one edit that was done was that I did the lens correction, right? The lens correction for that one photo. So in theory, we look at it as it's still edited. There was an editing change. So even though we make sure that only edited photos, you can see here in the filter, only edited photos can be sent, there is a way around it. If you are doing a lens correction, technically that photo is edited, right? So be aware of that. Only send edited photos to Imagen. Only send edited photos to Imagen. Okay, so preparing your catalogs. You now know what you need to send, right? Let's go through that one more time real quick. Photos that were edited with a consistent style, right? As many lighting conditions and as many scenarios as possible, as many cameras and lens variations as possible, will create a very diverse profile. And the more the better. 3,000 is the minimum. Remember, the more the better. Now, to prepare your catalog, you're going to gather and organize Lightroom catalogs ahead of time. There's no way around that. The fact that this is a time-consuming part. You have to gather your Lightroom catalog or catalogs. Now, when I created my own personal AI profile over a year ago, I have one giant Lightroom catalog that I use for everything, right? Everybody has their own methods. We work with whatever method you are. There's no limit to how many Lightroom catalogs you could send to create your profile. You can add as many as you want. And I will show you how to do that in a little bit. It can be from folders inside of Lightroom catalogs. It could be from collections. It could be specific attributes, star ratings, colors, flags. You could filter everything. And again, you'll see this in a minute. Okay. Couple other things are, if you know that certain edits are not consistent and you want to keep those, remove those, use an attribute that you don't normally use so you can filter those out when you're sending to Imagen. Also, do not try and send photos from a NAS, a network attached storage. Lightroom is not really designed to work perfectly with a NAS. So the transfer from the NAS to your computer and then to Imagen will either halt or go very, very slow. So it is best to use an internal or external SSD if available, or your hard drive if you don't have an SSD. But please don't use a NAS for important stuff like this. It's just going to be too slow for you. NAS is great for archiving. It's not great for production. Okay. All right. Couple notes before we dive into actually how to create the profile. Couple more things. And please get your questions in. There are a bunch of you watching. I really appreciate it. Please get your questions in so that I can make sure I get those answered. I am definitely paying attention. I have it up on the screen. That's why every so often I keep peeking over that way. Okay. Ooh, I hit the mic. Sorry about that. If you have multiple editing styles for different situations, real estate versus families, or headshots versus families, or weddings versus engagements, right? If you have different editing styles for different situations, create more than one personal AI profile. When you subscribe to Imagen, when you are, using it on a regular basis, you can have as many personal AI profiles as you need. Just make as many as you need, right? If you need a color profile and a black and white profile, you will have to create one for each. Or if you don't have a black and white style of your own, you can use one of our black and white talent AI profiles if you want. You don't have to always do a personal AI profile. It's completely up to you. Yeah, you can't do color and black and white at once. Right now, you would have to separate, into two separate profiles. Okay, let's show you how to bring your Lightroom catalogs into Imagen. Okay, this is the Imagen app. Hopefully, everybody watching is familiar with this app right now. But the homepage, you've got add a profile here. You can also get to this by going to AI profiles. Let me delete this one that I was just doing before real quick. Okay. What you would do is either click on add a profile and then choose create your own profile to create your own personal AI profile, or go to AI profiles and then create your own profile. And that brings you basically to the same spot, okay? You follow the instructions. We walk you through everything. You give your profile a name, whatever you want to call your profile. And as I mentioned, color or black and white. Choose one or the other. It has to be one or the other. And choose RAW or JPEG. If you are a JPEG shooter, you have to choose JPEG. But it's worth noting that if you choose color, we will not ever edit that in black and white. If you choose RAW, we will not ever edit. I should say, if you choose color, we will not look at black and white photos, and your profile will not edit black and white, and vice versa. Now, if you choose RAW, we will not look at JPEGs, any JPEGs you've edited, and vice versa, which means that you can only supply RAWs or JPEGs to be edited with that profile down the road. Hit create the profile, and here you either drag in your Lightroom catalog, you browse your computer for Lightroom catalog, or you go to recent catalogs, which is my favorite thing, because you just click on it and it brings up the latest one that you were just working in. Then you have to name the set of photos. All right. You have to name that set of photos just for your own reference. This is your internal reference to identify yourself, right? If you're doing a catalog per client in order to get to the 3,000 minimum, you can give it your client name, but you have to name this set of photos. This is not a project. This is not something you're editing. This is just internal purposes for your own reference. Then you can filter, right? So here's where you can say, I know that if it's unlabeled, no color, no star, right? Take away the nuns. That means everything that has a color and everything that is a star rated has that consistent editing style. If I go back to collections now, because I can go between collections and folders, I can see that that collection, which had almost 7,000 photos in it, is now 5,122. And it actually tells me why the remaining are not showing up. If it was because of labels or star ratings, it would tell me that. But it's actually telling me that it's that 1,831 are missing from the hard drive. That's because they don't have smart previews and they're on my external hard drive. That is why they're missing. So, yeah. Okay. So you bring in this catalog, you choose your filters, right? Filter in or filter out, whatever you need to, however you need to work. Choose your collection or your folders, depending, and hit add. Now I've got this profile started. 5,122 are added. If I want to add more to this, I would go add photos to build profile and grab the next catalog and grab the next catalog. So if I was to go and do this, I could say, let's go to this other catalog. And then I will go here and I will choose this one and I will give this another name. And now I have 2 catalogs added. 5,797 photos were added. This is ready to be uploaded and to create a profile already. Like, that's way more than enough photos, right? 3,000 is the minimum. All right, so let me show you something. Here's the different states. I'm going to delete that one I just did just for the sake of, so you can see everything. Here's one thing ready, 6,953 photos, right? I had the hard drive connected when I started this process. I can now just hit upload. It is ready to go, ready for me to upload this catalog to create the profile. Uploading sends it to our cloud servers, but does not start the creation process. All right. Now, uploading takes a few minutes, or depending on how many photos and how fast your internet is, could take a little bit longer. It depends on a whole bunch of factors, but this is a necessary step. Our AI has to learn how you edit, so you have to upload to our servers. Once uploaded, you'll see that these are all uploaded. You can see here I've got an uploaded tab. It gives me the reference name for it, and you can see 6,948 were uploaded of my own edits, right? I can add more to it if I need to add more to it, or if I'm ready to go, I just hit start training. There's one button right here. You can see that 3,000 minimum, right here, disappeared, and it was replaced with start training. So this is how we would actually click that button, literally 24 hours. It says it could take up to 72. It's up to 24. And that's it, right? 24 hours later or less, you'll get an email saying your profile, whatever you called it, is ready to go. Then you have this. Now this is, my profile is ready. It is ready to use. You can see here, it is ready to use right here, right? So I can actually click use to edit from here. I can go in, I can add even more photos to this. Even though it's already ready to go, I could add more photos to get me even closer to fine-tuning the profile. We will talk about that in a little bit as well. Please get your questions in if you have them. I see you're all there. I'm glad you're watching. I know you've got questions. Please get them in, and I promise I will get to your questions, during this live. So please get them in. Okay, so any questions about that specific so far up to where we are right now? Any questions about the Lightroom organization, what it takes to build a profile, and then actually like going through this process of building the profile. I'm not going to go through and actually upload everything because 7,000 photos, it'll take some time, and I want my bandwidth to focus on this live stream. But that's why I prepared these ahead of time, so you can see the different states of each of these, all right? Okay, so let's talk about fine-tuning. Basically, what fine-tuning is the idea of Imagen learning how your editing style evolves over time. Or even if you're not evolving, even if your editing style stays the same over time, fine-tuning is how the profile just gets smarter and smarter to get you closer to being 100% done with less work needed in the long term, right? So let's say you get your profile back, you're 75% there, right? There's still some tweaks that have to be made. You can edit your photos, right? You can edit your photos, and I will even show you what that looks like. Hold on a second. Yeah, we're going to do some edits right now. So I'll do a small job right now. We're going to do an edit. And I'm going to just edit. I don't know which one I'm going to edit. I'm going to do this Jack and Judy one. And I'm going to edit with clear color. All right. And I'm going to add this. It's just 35 photos. And and I have subject mask even turned on. I forgot I did that. And I will upload. All right. Now, what is happening is I'm uploading these 35 photos to be edited with a personal AI profile I created, right? And this personal AI profile is a very boring editing style. It's nothing fancy, just my own simple thing, right, that I use for demo purposes. But what you'll find is that when I get these back, I will be able to make any final adjustments I want in Lightroom and then upload those final edits back to Imagen. And it's not re-uploading your photos. It's just uploading the metadata of the changes. It's a very fast process. And that will actually help the AI to learn how I've evolved or how to get closer to 96%, 97%, and so on. All right. So right now the edits are going underway. It's already finished downloading. Here you can see right here, the edits are going. Right here you can see the state. Editing is underway. And once that's done, I will actually bring up Lightroom. I'll download it, bring up Lightroom. I'll show you how to make the final edits and then how to upload those again. In the meantime, are there any questions? I'm going to take a sip of tea because I could use it. If you have any questions, now's a great time to ask while I drink this tea. Nothing? No questions? All right. All right. Edits are almost done. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know you got questions, though. I know you do. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is as soon as the edits are done, I'm gonna get an alert, and I'll be able to download those edits, pop open Lightroom, and we'll keep moving on. We'll keep moving on. But I know you got questions, guys and gals. All right, it's got to be done in a second. Okay, it's done. Okay, here we go. So, edits are done. I'm going to download the edits. Did my question not show up? No, a question did not show up. So if you had a question, please try again. Because I didn't see anything. I'm going to download the edits. Edits are done. I'm going to now open Lightroom. While that's going, you're only going to see the Imagen app, but Lightroom is opening. I might have to change catalogs too, because I think it might be open to the wrong catalog. We'll see in a second. Still opening. Let's give it a sec. Oh, come on, Lightroom. Yeah, so I got to change catalogs. It's open to the other one that I didn't want. Switching catalogs. Here it's going. All right, here it comes. All right, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but I will get your question for sure. Okay, so here it goes. It was Jack and Judy, I believe. No, who was it? Yeah, wasn't it Jack and Judy? I must have filtered. Darn, I don't know what my filter was. Oh boy, it's probably something like this. So basically, oh, okay. Okay, cool. All of you not connecting Restream, I have no idea. Everybody's coming up a Facebook user, so I'm sorry. It's very confusing when all I see is Facebook user. Okay, so you get the edits back, right? You get the edit back. You say, okay, this is almost perfect, right? It's almost perfect. I need a little more texture. I need clarity to go down a little bit, right? You make your final edits of what you would do, right? And then when you're all done, you close Lightroom. I know I just opened Lightroom, but now I'm about to close Lightroom. Then you go back to the Imagen app. And inside the Imagen app, you got this Upload Final Edits button. Now, Upload Final Edits will literally take whatever you just did, any of the changes you just made to those 35 photos or whatever, however it was in your project, and it's going to upload the metadata back and say to our AI, I prefer this, right? And what's going to happen if I now upload this, it uploads the metadata, I go back to my AI profiles, go back to that profile I just used, and now the photos needed for that fine tune has actually gone down to now 2,688. You can see here that this is the one. Was right here. Oh, right here. Demo. Let's go alphabetical order. Demo February 8th, 2023. That's today. And the fine tunes were uploaded. So you can see that I need 2,688 left in order to fine tune this profile, right? So how many photos do you need to fine tune a profile? It is 1/2 of whatever the profile is at, with the minimum being 3,000. Okay, so which means if you upload 3,000 photos, the minimum required to create your profile. To create this one, I uploaded almost 5,000, and you have to wait for another 3,000 to fine tune your profile. Then you're at 6,000. Now you have 6,000 in your profile. You have the original 3 plus the fine tuned. So now you have 6,000. Now you need half of that. So you need 3,000 more for a fine tune. Then you can have 9,000, and then you need half of 9,000 for the next fine tune, and so on and so on. It's always half of whatever what the profile has, with a minimum of 3,000 photos. So like this new one that I just created with the 6,948 photos needs 3,474 fine tunes in order to be updated, right? So there's 2 ways to fine tune. One is doing what I just did, upload final edit. The other is you go to your profile and add more photos, add more catalogs of your editing style. Again, using everything I've talked about so far, right? That is what is going to make your profile better and better and better over time. Keep teaching Imagen how you edit. Keep sending back the final edits. That is an essential thing for a personal AI profile to keep learning from you. Audrey, hello from Spain. Nice. Okay, there was a question. I sent a batch of pictures with a profile, but I wasn't happy with the results. So I wanted to send it again in a different profile, but I wasn't able to. Is there a way to do this? You can send your you can create another profile with different photos or with the same photos. You can do that. If you're not able to, definitely, reach out to support. Our customer success team will be able to help with that. But you should be able to use the same photos in a different profile. You may not be able to use them in the same profile, but in the different profile, you should have no problem doing that. So definitely contact customer support if you are having trouble with that. Here's how you can do that. support.imagenai.com, and you'll be able to open a ticket, and they'll be able to take a look at what's going on for you. Now, I will say there's some cool stuff coming. There is some cool stuff coming that is going to help with getting your profile closer to where you want to be, and we will definitely be talking about that more down the road. Now, great question. Thank you. Keep the questions coming. I want to show something that we now have available. Actually, not that we are working on. So we just let me open up the Imagen app. There it is. You just created this profile. It's ready to use, right? We've got this profile called How to Train a Profile. We have a new feature. Let's say that you have a colleague, a friend, or somebody who loves your editing style, or you love their editing style, and they have a profile, personal AI profile in the Imagen app. You, or they, can now share a profile. You can now share a personal AI profile with up to 3 other Imaginers. Here's how to do it. There's 2 ways, 2 different places you can do it. The first is from this screen with your AI profiles. You just go over to the profile you want, click on the 3 dots, and click Share. Put in the email address, hit Send Invite. It's done. We handle the rest. It's all done behind the scenes. They will instantly have access to your personal AI profile. You can remove access at any time. You can see there's an alert on the screen that says if your AI profile is based on a custom color profile, like in Lightroom, a custom LUT, or a preset bought from a third party, only photographers who have those installed will get the same profile results. So, for example, if somebody is you bought a preset from XYZ company, and that comes with a custom color profile that has to be installed, which is basically a LUT, right? If you have a preset which defines settings and a custom color profile that is defined across all photos, and the person you're sharing a profile with does not have those installed, the edits will not look right on their computer because it'll be missing. So that's very important, okay? But otherwise, if you're just using what's built into Lightroom, it won't matter. Everything is right then and there anyway. So this is the first way to share your profile. You go in, like I said, find the profile, click on the 3 dots, click Share. The other way is to go inside of the profile, just where you would add more photos or do the fine tuning, and find the 3 dots there and click Share. And it's beautiful. It's instant. And what happens is when you do share a profile, let me just share one so you can see what I mean. I can share. I'm going to share with Christine. You're going to get an email. So I'm going to share this profile with Christine. You can see I'm now sharing with Christine. I can remove it anytime. But now if I go back to AI profiles, there's a little icon that says I'm sharing this profile, right? So I can always go back to the share and I can remove the profile at any time. All right. So that little share icon you will see on your end, and the person that's it's being shared with will also see it on their end. So that is brand new inside of Imagen. I'm happy that I got to share that with everybody. Now, I think what I want to show you is a quick, unless there's any other questions about building a profile, I'm going to move on to some wrap-up things, like sharing a quick demo of subject mask, because I know a lot of people were wondering about that. So I'm going to create a project, and I'm going to choose this one. Let's go to here, and Who should I do subject mask on? I'm going to do subject mask on... oh, boy. Let's do... I'm going to do Jack and Judy again, but why is it only 35? That's the question. You know, I'm not going to do Jack and Judy. I'm going to go to my go-to, which is Ross and Rachel. And I'm going to do it with, I'm going to do it with Cinematic Luxury. February 8th, subject mask demo. February 8th, 2023, subject mask demo. So you can see subject mask is here. As always, you can always do crop, right? We can crop for you. You could always do straighten. We'll straighten for you. And then right now in beta is subject mask. That's what you're going to see right now. And let's see if I can reduce the number because I don't need to do all 197. Let's see. Okay, so we'll do 190. Okay, 190 photos we're about to do right now. I will just set them to upload, and you'll see subject mask in a moment, which will be really nice. And you'll see it across the board of what we're doing to everybody. So I'm going to let that upload. Please get your questions in while that's uploading and while you're getting in any additional questions. I'm going to talk about a couple things. Next Wednesday, here, 11 a.m. Eastern Channel. Yes, we are going to have one of our talent AI profiles, one of our friends, our partners, Sarah Edmonds, will be back on the live stream. Sarah, if you're watching, hi. Demoing subject mask from her end and showing how she would finish a photo with the subject mask and everything else after the fact for delivery, right? So you're going to see live editing with Sarah. That's what next week's live stream is all about. Live editing with Sarah Edmonds, really with the focus on subject mask. After that, the following week, we're working out the details right now, but we're going to have an Ask Us session only in the community, in the Imagen community. So if you're not already in the community, please make sure you join the community. And we will be having an Ask Us session, and Ask Me Anything, basically, with two of our co-founders, Ron and Yotam, will be joining to answer any questions that you have. So that is exclusive inside of the Imagen community. If you're not already in there, please make sure you join the Imagen community. I don't know why I don't have an option to, hold on, I gotta bring one up because that's weird that I don't have an option for, I'm very surprised about that. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna do it right now. Here it goes. ImagenAI.com/community. Make sure you join, get over there, and hop in there because, like I said, coming up real soon is it's what we call it an Ask Us session. Basically, an Ask Me Anything, where Ron and Yotam will answer whatever questions you have about Imagen or anything like that. By the way, this is still going right here. You can see it's still going. And yeah, you can get your question. If you don't already know what questions you want to ask yet, but you know you're going to want to ask questions, get this over here. Then all you have to do is pre-submit your questions. You can pre-submit your questions, and I will get in the queue for Ron and Yotam to answer live for you. So if you don't have a question for that Ask Us session in 2 weeks, get those in. Or if you have any questions about subject mask and you want to ask a question about subject mask over the next, few days until next week's live stream with Sarah Edmonds, you can get those in as well. And that's all I got to say about that. That's fun. Fun stuff coming up. I'm really excited about it all. So, do you have any questions right now? All you have to do is comment and ask. Get those questions in right now while you have them. And I will do my best to answer them for you. Let's see. Can we do any fun sound effects while we're waiting? I'm not going to do any sound effects. All right, so it finished uploading. Now we just got to wait for the edits to come through. You'll see right now, if I go back to here, it is currently editing photos. And then I will be able to show you subject mask. Any questions about setting up a personal AI profile? Any questions about what consistency means? Any question about sharing a profile? Anything like that? There's a bunch of you watching. I'm surprised there's not more questions today. Unless you are asking questions and for some reason they're not coming through. If that's the case, I'm just going to pop open Facebook real quick to see if somehow that's all not coming through, which is very possible. But there are a lot of you and not a lot of questions. Yeah, no, not a lot of questions yet. Come on, bring in the questions. I know you're there watching. Okay. Editor's still going. Come on, ask me questions. I know you got something. I know you got something. Comment. What is the name of your personal AI profile? What is the name of your personal AI profile? Laura from New Jersey. I'm also in New Jersey, Laura. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm also in New Jersey. So, hello, neighbor. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you're able to tune in. Let's see. Edits are not ready yet. What is the name of your personal AI profile? What are you going to call your personal AI profile? I feel like that's always fun to see what people call it. What are you going to name your personal AI profile, or what is the name of your personal AI profile? As you can see, mine was very boring. If I'm to go here, mine is clear color and family style. Very boring, but I've seen some really fun ones. So, what is yours? I want to know. Come on, there's a bunch of you watching. What's the name of your personal AI profile, or what are you going to call your personal AI profile? Have some tea. It's almost lunchtime over here in New Jersey. What are you eating for lunch today, Laura? Editor almost ready. And then I can bring them into Lightroom, and we will enjoy watching what happens with subject mask because it's really cool. Almost ready. Come on, I know you got questions. Bring on the questions. Lunch. Yeah. Food sounds good right now. I don't know what I'm going to eat for lunch yet, though, but. I kind of want tacos today. Maybe I'll have tacos for dinner and do something simple for lunch. Okay. Nobody wants to share? Nobody wants to share what the name of their personal AI profile is going to be or is? Come on. Okay. So I think I'm going to just load up. Yeah. Here's what we're going to do. I think I'm loading up Lightroom right now as before we wrap this up. Sometimes I wish Lightroom would open faster because I feel like that in itself, that's a good like 2 minutes of time just waiting for Lightroom to open. I don't know why. I don't know why. Laura, again, it sounds like a bit time, but worth it. Yeah. So, yes, getting started, for sure, getting started is definitely the most time-consuming part of the process. Like actually building your profile is for sure the most time-consuming part of the whole thing. But once your profile is made, the rest of it is so fast. The rest of it is so fast. So yes, it is definitely. Let's see. Do I already have this here? No. Oh yes. Haha. Okay. Let's see. Make sure that this has subject mask. It should. And away we go. All right. So, before we wrap it up, here is subject mask. Here we have a bunch of photos, right? And if I'm to look right here at this one, and I go in the develop module, and I pull up subject mask, or I pull up masking, you can see that there's an Imagen mask here, right? I can hover over it and I can actually see what the mask actually is. I can zoom in and see how intricate the mask actually is, right? And what I like doing is actually seeing what it's doing with, like, around the hair, right? So if I was to hover over this, you can see how good of a job it did with the hair. You can see there's a little more that could be done over here, but overall, it did a fantastic job at getting all the hair in play. But then, because it's a brush mask, you can go in and you could actually adjust, adjust the mask, remove a little bit, add a little bit. If you have a Wacom pen, or I don't use Wacom anymore. It's Sense Labs. This is what I use now, Sense Labs. And actually comes with 2 pens, which is pretty cool. But that was loud. And yeah, so you can go in and you can, get all nitty gritty with it however you want. But then you can actually see, when you actually click on the mask, you can see what edits were done for that mask, whether it was exposure or shadow. Like in here, shadows were boosted, whites were boosted, sharpness was boosted on just the mask. So if I was to take away the mask, you can see the difference. Right? So that's no mask. That's with a mask. You can see there's a nice little boost in there's a nice little pop there for the mask, right? And you can also reduce the effect amount, right, as well, if you want to, right? So you can do all that too. So yeah, that is a subject mask. So here's another example of subject mask. I think this one should be edited. Yeah, so here's another one with subject mask. You can see it did perfect on a bald head. But yeah. Sandra here, I agree. Let's see. Hi, Sandra. Endless hours editing is almost killing me and making me not like my job anymore. Really excited about AI editing. Well, I'm glad that we'll be able to help with that. That's what we want to do. Somebody says we lost you completely. If you're not seeing me anymore, I don't know why, but it says I'm still streaming. But I'm going to be wrapping it up. Unless there's any other questions, any other comments that you want to share, now's a good time to get those in. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up, and then I will be live next week with Sarah Edmonds, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I will be getting that scheduled in the community. Please join the community. There's the link, and I want to see you there because, yeah. So next week, Sarah Edmonds demoing subject mask and what to do afterwards. A full live edit, and then after that, the following week, an Ask Us session only in the Imagen community. It will not be available anywhere else, with two of our co-founders, Ron and Yotam, and they will be answering any questions that you have. I do see one more comment. I found subject mask edits made my Lightroom slow for my re-edits. So that is not actually an Imagen thing. That is a Lightroom thing. So when you start doing masking, if you turn on lens correction, if you do masking, that slows Lightroom down. So we actually recommend that if you're going to do subject masking a lot, whether with Imagen or without, we recommend that you have smaller Lightroom catalogs, okay? Because otherwise, you will have a slow Lightroom. Unfortunately, Lightroom hasn't figured out how to speed things up when masking is applied and when lens correction is applied. So maybe one day. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who commented and asked questions and whatnot. Please, next time, if you don't mind, connect Restream so I can see your names instead of just Facebook user. That would be great. I'd really appreciate that. So thank you. And until next time, see you next week. I want to see you next week when I'm live with Sarah Edmonds. Again, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 week from today. Is it recommended not to, one more question. Is it recommended not to use lens correction? It depends. It's all personal preference. I like using it because to me, certain lenses have distortion. Like I'm a big fan of a 20mm lens, but it has distortion. I have a, um, I have a 14 to 35, I think it is, 16 to 35 Nikon lens, and that has a lot of distortion. So I like turning on lens correction. Should you turn it on after the AI editor done? Well, yes, we're going to override it either way. So if you have it on ahead of time and you're editing with it and your profile doesn't utilize lens correction, then we are going to override it no matter what. With that said, your edit will look different once you turn on lens correction. Let me see if I can show you what I mean by that. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here's a quick edit, right? If I turn on lens correction, you can see it change a little bit. It got a little bit brighter, tiny bit brighter. If I turn it off, there's actually a notable change. If you look like his back of his head to the background, there's a notable change. So the edit actually does change when lens correction is turned on. All right. Do lens corrections after Imagen is done so Lightroom is faster? I mean, you can, but you will have to go in and apply lens correction after the fact across the board if that's what you want to do. But again, it will adjust the edit that is done. That's just the nature of the beast. You turn on lens correction, it will look different no matter what. So great questions. I really appreciate those questions. And yeah. So with that, 1 week from today, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Sarah Edmonds, she'll be live in the community, talking about subject masking, showing what she does in her edits to finish her photos. And then the following week, an Ask Us session, only exclusive in the Imagen community with our co-founders, Ron and Yotam, answering whatever questions you have. So with that, thank you for tuning in, for sticking around for the last hour. I hope that now you feel more comfortable getting started with creating your personal AI profile. Yes, it will take some time, but as it's been said, once it's done, the time saving is beautiful. And you get back to focusing on what you love. See you next time.